My name is Finlay Clark. Everyone calls me Finn, so feel free to use that. I've been working at Waze for 2 years now. Before that, I was at Google for 5 years. When I moved over, I thought, wow, it's like really interesting to work with kind of a small group of people who are laser focused on solving one issue, which is traffic in urban areas. Waze was an Israeli company that was acquired by Google about 4 years ago, and they said, you know what, we're not going to mess you up, we're not going to try and integrate you into other things we're doing, we're basically just going to let you go, and we're going to obviously help you and help you with resources, but we're interested to see how big you could do this, because the company had got to a sizable size with quite a little bit of money in the sort of 6 years they've been going before they were acquired. So it's quite interesting to see that it's actually still very much a startup in amongst Google. So if you're not familiar with what we do at Waze, we are, most of you will probably hopefully know us as a sat-nav app on your phone. Can I just have a show of hands? How many of you are Wazers in the room? Great, so about half I would say. If you're not familiar with Waze, at the moment you can download us. We're a free app from the app stores. We get you from A to B. Sounds kind of standard stuff. What we do different is that we actually crowdsource all of our information from real drivers on the road. So if you want to know what it feels like to be a Wazer, it should feel a little bit like this. Okay? So actually, we are the app that finds you shortcuts. We find you the quickest way. We are used by people who know where their home and their work is. So they know where they're going, but they use our app. Most people use it every week. So many people use it every day because we're like a crystal ball for driving. And that's actually what we're trying to do. And the more people that use our app, the better it gets, because every single person is almost helping to outsmart traffic. So we've got 90 million users around the world who all do about 18 billion kilometers. So average time spent in the app is about 14 hours a month in the UK. The average drive is about 45 minutes each way. And all of the users are helping make the product better. We're not used in I was interested to hear like the talk earlier, the difference in rural and urban areas. We are not used in really rural areas. We're used in cities. And that's where we're most that's where our focus is. So to give you an idea of what makes us a little bit different, if you're not familiar with us, we have these active reporting, so people actually contribute in real time to what's going on. This is what makes us a bit different. They tell us if they're stuck in traffic. Where the police are, look at the French, where we've got a huge community of people. They love doing that, alerting other people in France where the police are. I mean, if you look at the 9th of January this year, Tube Strike Day in London, I'm sure many of you live in London, we had over 100,000 alerts on that day alone. It was a terrible day to be behind the wheel, but a lot of what we were doing that day was just telling you exactly how long you're going to be stuck for and when you're going to arrive. So we have lots of people that are giving us this rich real-time information. That's what makes us a bit different. And it's worth saying that we talk about community a lot of ways. Just wanted to explain that in terms of what we mean by that. So if you just drive with our app on, you're part of our community, you're contributing. We can get a lot of information just from your GPS traces of what the speeds are like. The second layer is people that actively make reports. You can do this with your voice. It is there's like a gamification element to it, that you get rewarded by points in the community. And people love this. I mean, people really like it. You know that goodness feeling you get when you sort of let someone out of a junction? You're being nice. This is like the digital equivalent. Like if you report that you're in traffic, we will actually give people behind you different routes. So you're helping that, and they thank you for that. Something that blew my mind when I started working for Waze was that I found out that there was 50,000 people around the world who edit the Waze map as their hobby in their spare time. All right, so they have a desktop version of Waze, and they do things like say, well, this is a new roundabout in my area, or there's a one-way street here. This is how we make sure we're not the app that takes you over the bridge that's closed, because we outsource, and we have these active volunteers who basically, it's like Wikipedia, but for maps. And I've taken a bunch of these map editors. They have got direct access to our product guys. They give us amazing feedback. It is phenomenal what happens when you've got a passionate group of people whose hobby is essentially altruism. They love doing this. Other people might do sport or crochet. They edit the Waze map. We love these people. They will make us a bit unique. The last thing that we do that I'm going to talk a little bit about is partnerships. a word that's come up again and again today, and I'll talk about how we partner with over 500 city and transport authorities around the world to give them our data for free to make their cities run quicker, and I'll show you some of the things that we've learned doing that. So we had a lot of issues with traffic and transport authorities, with people that actually run cities, and they say, you know what, had signs up like this, don't trust your apps, because effectively people are using apps like Waze to find the quickest routes. And actually what we did was we developed 3 years ago a program called Connected Citizens. This is our way of giving data directly to the likes of Transport for London, Rio, Barcelona, Ghent. We give 500 partners around the world every day a real-time feed, accidents, incidents, hotspots. They are using this data to help them think about how they make their cities run quicker and making experiments. In return, they tell us where all the construction is on a daily basis in the city. When there's a marathon on and they close 150 roads over 3 days, our app is up to date and we tell our users for free. They love this because they are getting information right out to people as they need it. We love it because our app's the most up-to-date one out there. So this is a genuine example of a public-private partnership where there's no money changing hands, and lots of cities around the world are using our data to do smart things. I mean, just to give you a couple of examples, in London, we've been working with Transport for London for a year. If any of you have ever tried to get across southeast London around Blackwall Tunnel, you may have found that you'll be in this huge backlog. And they said to us, look, we get 3 people who break down every week because they don't have enough fuel in their car, because they're in that sort of bottleneck. So we send a little alert to people when they're stopped to say, if you're low on fuel, we'll direct you directly to one of the nearest petrol stations, and we'll tell you how long that will add to your drive. And we've seen, we're going to be announcing this publicly next month, just how many people we've rerouted and estimate how much traffic ease that's created for one small hotspot in London. So that's one thing that we've done with them, very hyper-local, but a pinch point in London. Another thing that they've found remarkable is that effectively, Waze is now, or crowdsourced data, is now the #1 way that in the LSTCC in Palestra of how they actually kind of get incidents and accidents, how they get early detection of what's happening on the roads. So we are now the #1 source of how they get early detection. We are verifying between 500 and 600 incidents a month, which Wazers are reporting and London TfL are reacting to quicker. And that has been a step change for them, because at the same time they're having their budgets cut and they're getting less resources from the police. So this is how we're doing this. A couple of other things. We work with all the OEMs, or many of them. We want Waze to be in the main screen in the car. Why this is interesting is because the cars of tomorrow, as you all know, will have sensors in them. And actually, very soon, you're going to move away from this. I know we're talking a lot about autonomous today, but we think there's so much to do in assisted driving before that. So, you know, very soon your car's not going to know it's low on fuel, but where the nearest petrol stations are and which ones are the cheapest. And also they'll know things like, if all the cars in front start braking, what should your car be suggesting to you to do? So before autonomous vehicles, there's going to be a lot of assisted driving. And, you know, we think when you're baked into the main, you know, data center in the car, that's where kind of Waze and Google's strong suit is, computing large data sets at once. We've done partnerships with Spotify. The apps are linked now, so you don't have to switch between Spotify and Waze. It took a year to link their SDK with our SDK. This is a safety feature. We know people need maps in the car. We know they like music. We don't want you to be having to switch between the apps. We do a lot of celeb voices. This is a bit about our brand. We've got many of these still to come. People love this. People pay us to have their celebs in our app doing voices to promote movies and things. It's how we make money and fund all this innovation. Another thing that we do to make money is we advertise. We allow brands to advertise on our maps. We do this in a safe way. The ads are integrated to a map. Things like promoted pins, which just highlight visually where businesses are. You can engage with these. This is a campaign we're running at the moment with Shell and Costa. And we find that about 6% of people that actually interact with one of these ads actually drives in and refuels. So we do a lot of work with the fuel. Clearly, we do a lot of work with BP as well. They've given us lots of things around context, different messages for morning, noon, evening, nighttime. Honda, we work with Ford as well. So they're thinking about how do we speak to drivers and what do we talk to them about. Other ways that we're trying to think about how we can help the ecosystem is with roadside help. So Wazers love to, if you break down, we've got this new alert now, sort of bottom right-hand corner saying roadside help. You can tap that and you can request help from other people around you. Say your battery went dead. And now we're actually even connecting that up to some insurance providers to be able to say, do you know what, if you want to be in this space, you can promote yourself as long as you can repair and get out to anyone as quick as possible. So these are some of the new things we're doing to actually try and connect businesses and partner with people to be in our platform. Last couple of minutes, I just want to talk about what we're building in the future, because we're at this funny thing at Waze in the moment where we are moving from being a sort of sat-nav company to being a transportation company, and we really feel we're going to have to actually cannibalize our existing business, which is the sat-nav company, to actually try and end traffic, which is our goal. We're trying to take cars off the road. So the idea is that whilst we are amazing at finding you shortcuts, and we can load balance, and we can save you 5-10 minutes a day, the truth is there's too many cars, there's not enough roads, and we have to think about how we take cars off the road. So our vision is that this might take, it was interesting to hear the panel earlier saying, well, this might take 10, 15. We think in the next 15 to 20 years, before you get to this level 5 completely self-driving car that's electric and connected and all the infrastructure's there, you're going to have a bunch of services. Some of them have many been described today. And these services are due to the fact that particularly young people, and particularly people in urban areas, they don't need to own cars, they do need transportation. And many people today are accustomed to giving that up and actually be happy to just pull out their phone, press a button, and a car turns up. And I think, you know, it's very unlikely that anyone born today is going to need to learn to drive, okay? But in the meantime, you're going to have these services. And so we're playing in this space. We are launching Waze Carpool. We've done this for about 18 months in Tel Aviv. We're launching it and scaling it across America. We're launching it in Brazil this year. So what we're trying to do is say, right, if we could take cars off the road by getting just the Wazers to commute with other Wazers, what would happen? And we estimate that if we could just get 3 to 5% of traffic in urban areas to carpool, that would actually create free-flowing traffic. So we're launching this. One of the benefits of being a Google company is we're not having to roll this out fast. We're making loads of mistakes. And I think it's worth saying carpooling's been around since the end of the Second World War. The reason it's not really taken off is because it's a lot of hassle and not much reward. So actually what we're trying to do is get rid of all the hassle by making it very kind of seamless. And these are tough computing problems around density, pricing, convenience, where you're going to pick someone up, where you're going to drop someone off. I mean, amazing stat that people, 4 minutes in Uber, if it's over 4 minutes, they'll cancel. I mean, this is really hard stuff to do, right? So we're working hard at it. We don't think we could have done this 5 years ago. You know, before like Airbnb. So this is kind of how our carpool app looks. You're not getting picked up by a taxi driver. It's somebody else, someone who's commuting, probably live and work near you. And you get to know a little bit about them. So it's like the Airbnb model, but for empty car seats, right? And you know, there's a lot of social norms we've got to break down here. I mean, you're getting into someone else's car, so it's like, you know, it's like ratings and reviews. Do they have a dog? Do they listen to loud techno music? I mean, there's definitely an advertising campaign there around the norms of carpooling. I mean, I think what we're finding, it's early days yet, but we're finding is as we move from kind of 2 cars per family, certainly in the US, trying 1 car, you're going to have lots and lots of different transportation options, and we hope we will be one of them. We won't be the one that you use at 3 in the morning. We will be the one that hopefully will be there for you in commuting hours. And we really feel as though this is, if we could just get the Wazers to carpool, because that's our advantage. We've got 90 million people around the world who are using our app anyway. And the magic is the Wazers were going that way anyway. So they're going that way anyway, and this time they're just getting the fuel, sharing the cost of the fuel. So it's early days yet, but our vision is that, you know, what we're hearing from customers, why people do this. First of all, people are like, in the US, there's like these HOV lanes. So if you've got other people in the car, you can use them. First of all, that's a quicker commute. You know, second of all, people are liking the cost of it. I mean, the truth is, it's going to cost so little to move people and things around cities in the next 5-10 years. The cost is going to come down. And people are seeing the value in that, and also some people are saying they like to carpool just for the conversation. I mean, these are people who work and live near them anyway. So we're working hard at this problem. The way we think about it is traffic is the enemy, but we create traffic, right? So in order to end traffic, or certainly play a role in denting traffic, we have to work together. So that's what we're doing at Waze. I hope it's been insightful. If you want any more information, it's finlay@waze.com, and I'll be here all day. Thanks very much.